Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, we've just seen... do you want me in the middle? Right, okay, thank you. Well, thank you. Well, behind us will be built a new bridge, a new northbound bridge, 4 lanes. And we are committing from the federal budget half of the cost of that, $155 million. And this bridge, that hasn't even been built yet, is the best known bridge in Canberra, because A.Sudmalis has been as persuasive as she has been persistent. Everybody knows about the importance of this bridge.
Some ministers would say painful, I think, but never mind.
Effective. That's what the people of Gilmore want. They want an advocate who is effective and gets things done. And you know what? We have got a strong budget. We've got a strong economy. Record jobs growth. We're bringing the budget back into balance. You know, that is our trajectory to do that. We're not going to compromise that, but these stronger revenues enable us in responsibly managing the budget to invest in essential services and infrastructure, to deliver them. And Anne has done a fantastic job in explaining the importance of this new bridge and what it means for her community, and she's had the strong support of her community here to ensure that this community with Nowra here and Bomaderry on the other side are linked, and these bridges are vital. So Anne, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done. And tell us about your campaign to build our bridge and how important it's going to be.
Look, Malcolm, it's been a really long project. It started in, early 2012, and people were in the community said, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I said, well, what do you want? Universally it was, we need a new bridge. And so it's been a long, boiling project. And then in the last 6 months we've built it up, and we've done phone canvassing, letterboxing, door knocking, everything possible to raise awareness and get people signing the petition. So we've done more than 3,000 signatures on the petition now. I'm very pleased with that. It's been quite fast. But it goes back to you, to reflect to you that this really is an important piece of infrastructure. And I cannot thank the community enough for getting on board with getting the bridge, because it is really, when you get tired after a couple of years, you start thinking, am I on the right track? Am I doing the right thing? And then the community says, keep going. We need that bridge. And thanks to all of them. I would absolutely like that message to go across. Thank you, community. You've helped this happen.
Well, you've secured first the $10 million for the business plan and the design.
Yeah.
The support of the community demonstrates that this is the highest priority project, and because of the strong economic growth we've got, the jobs growth that we've got, the responsible management of our budget and our public finances, we're able to deliver the half of the cost of the bridge, and we look forward to the New South Wales Government having more to say about it shortly.
Prime Minister, given revenues are so much higher and stronger than you expected, can we expect an earlier return to surplus date?
I'm not going to comment any further on the budget. That's for the
Minister
Treasurer.
he wouldn't rule it out
Well,
this morning.
the budget is next week, and the Treasurer will have a lot to say.
Prime Minister, will the federal government commit to funding this entire project, or will this money be it, and will you be looking at the state government to drop up the rest of the funds?
Look, we're very confident. The state government, this bridge is a priority for the state government as well, and it's a joint priority. We have funded, as you know, the business case and the design work already, and this is a $310 million project, is what's been estimated, and so we're committing half of that cost, $155 in the budget.
Chris Richardson has said that it's raining revenue in Canberra. Is there a problem here that you might be spending a bit too much on what is just a temporary lift in revenue, rather than return the budget to surplus?
We are managing the budget with great care and with great responsibility, believe me.
Prime Minister,
and we are committed to bringing the budget back into balance. As we've said, we inherited a budget when we came into government, which was in deficit with a lot of structural problems too, that has made it hard to bring it back into balance. We're doing that, and we're getting the dividends from stronger economic growth. You know, we had record jobs growth last year, and what that means is more people are in work, more people are getting ahead, realising their dreams, more people are paying tax,
So are you-
and of course that means less going out in unemployment benefits.
So you're still committed to a 2021 surplus date?
Again, that is the date. 2021, we will be in. Our forecasts say that we'll be in surplus, but you'll have all the updated forecasts in the budget next week. So wait
Prime
till
Minister, are
then.
you concerned that Australian Navy officers have allegedly been caught up in the US Navy Fat Leonard bribery scandal?
Look, I can't comment on that.
Prime
Is
Minister,
there
one
a
of the biggest
security gap
issues
in
down here
Australia
has
that-
been
Hang on,
funding
no,
for
wait a
the
minute.
proposed princess.
One of the biggest issues in this press conference is that everybody's asking questions at the same time. So let's go around. You go for you first, sir.
Thank you, Prime Minister. One of the big issues down here is operating the Princess Highway, and there's certainly been a number of accidents down in the southern part of the Shoalhaven, and the big issue is an 80-20 funding split. So what's the latest on that? Is there any possibility we could be like seeing more federal money going into upgrading the highway here?
So let me just jump in, Prime Minister, because I've been on the ground working for this for some time. Last August, a number of federal MPs got together and knocked on the infrastructure minister's door and said, Princess Highway needs to be recognised by the federal government. What can we do about it? There's a study in place as we speak in order to get the Princess Highway as a nationally recognised road of strategic importance. Other than that, nothing will come out other than patchwork funding for election promises or black spot promises until we get that particular ratio sorted, and you can't do anything at this moment until that's sorted. And I'm so pleased to be able to say that in this forum, because there's been so much rubbish put out there in the media that it's very frustrating. So this is fantastic. We get the full message out there in front of everyone. Thanks for the question.
Good on you,
A
Anne.
Sky News
Hooray.
Research-
Well
Prime
done.
Minister, a
So-
Sky News retail poll has that 50% of those polled support a 90-day limit on refugees on Manus and Nauru, including 50% of Liberal voters. We've heard from Penny Wong this morning that says that that's something that Labor should possibly implement. Is that something that the government would consider?
Absolutely not. If Penny Wong is supporting a limit of that kind on the time refugees would be held or detained in at Manus or Nauru, that is rolling out the welcome mat to the people smugglers. It's extremely irresponsible. We have stopped the boats, we've stopped the drownings at sea, and we've only done that because the people smugglers know that they will not be able to get through, and that has to be maintained. We must maintain the security of our borders. We owe that to the Australian people who expect their government and their government alone to determine who comes to Australia, whether they're an immigrant, whether they're a visitor, or whether they're through the humanitarian program.
Just on another Labor policy
Just
as well.
hang on, next one. So we're just going to move around. Who's next?
What is your reaction to the Commonwealth Bank losing 20 million accounts?
Well, this is an extraordinary blunder. It's hard to imagine how so much data could be lost in this way. I have to say that the bank, if that had happened today, the bank would have to advise each of their customers about the loss of data under new laws that we brought in and that have been operating since the beginning of this year. But this maintaining data security is of vital importance for everybody, whether it's the private sector or governments, and if there is a serious data breach or data loss, then the people affected should be advised so that they can take steps to protect themselves.
Just on that as well, on top of the APRA report that was released earlier this week, do you share your Treasurer's frustration that more executives will now have to go, more members of the board?
Well, the board members and executives, leaders, have to take responsibility for their organisation, and we've already seen some resignations in at AMP, for example. It's vitally important that those who have done the wrong thing are held to account, and we are doing everything to ensure that these wrongs, this injustice that has occurred will not happen again. So that's my commitment. We've already made some very big changes to the law. We got started on this 2 years ago when I called this out. What we've seen is across the financial services sector, and in banks, insurance companies, in wealth advisors, we've seen a failure of culture where the customer has not been put first. That has to change.
should
I
heads
called
roll?
that out. Well, what we need to see is those who've done the wrong thing be held to account, and we've introduced tougher penalties and tougher regimes so that bank executives that have done the wrong thing may find themselves unable to work again. And also, we've put in place the stronger measures to ensure this sort of thing will not happen again. And
Just one more.
hang on, we're just going back to the Shoal. We're
Will
going
you-
back. We're going back to the Shoalhaven. It's all right.
Prime Minister,
Yeah. Okay, come and step. Sorry.
Prime Minister, there's been some silly.
Well, hang on, please. A bit of chivalry from you, sir. There is a lady here with a question. Come and step up.
Yeah, sure. A.Sudmalis, you mentioned that you were looking into the highway and that 80-20 split that the federal government's given to the northern parts of New South Wales. When can we see that down here?
Beck, I think I just explained that study is in place right now. That I can't anticipate the outcome of that study. It's in place. And I've been working with the Minister on this for some time. You cannot anticipate an outcome for a study as important as that to make sure that we address the fatalities that have occurred on that highway. It needs to be considered. So whatever the formula is, that's the way it will be as a recommendation.
Can I just make this observation, Beck? And it's really important to understand that the people who pay for infrastructure are the Australian people, Australian taxpayers. Whether it is a 50-50 split, as we're talking about with the new bridge here, or whether it's an 80-20 split where the federal government puts in 80%, or whether it's a situation where the federal government pays 100% or the state government pays 100%, or local government pays it. One way or another, it comes from Australian taxpayers. And so the important thing is to ensure that governments work together. And we've got a great relationship with the New South Wales government. Gladys Berejiklian and I and all of our respective colleagues work very closely together. And so you look at what we've done, for example, in Western Sydney, where there's a big piece of big new infrastructure, the new Western Sydney Airport, and also a commitment to build a new rail link down the North-South rail link, which we will do 50-50. But you see, whichever way we work it out, Beck, the most important thing is that it gets built and that Australians get the essential infrastructure that they need. But at the end of the day, governments can talk about which government pays. The reality is Australian taxpayers pay, and that's why responsible budget management and strong economic leadership is vital, because that's what ensures that we have more money in the pockets of hard-working Australians. We guarantee and deliver essential services and infrastructure, and the government, whether it's federal, state or local, lives within its means. Thank you all very much.
Were you offended by Emmanuel Macron calling Lucy delicious?
Last one.
Right. No, well, thank you. Lucy was very flattered, and she's asked me to say that she found the President's compliment as charming as it was memorable. It was a great visit. President Macron charmed Australia. He certainly charmed all of us, all the Turnbulls, and I think he is a great friend of Australia. I have to say his visit's been a real success, and I think Australia-France relations, which have always been very strong and very warm, and of course, were forged in the intense conflict and battle 100 years ago, they have grown and developed and become stronger still. I think one of the great memorable moments in history was when the President of the French Republic stood in front of the Anzac Memorial in Hyde Park, and he said on behalf of France, thank you to the Australians who defended the freedom of his country. It was a great visit, and as I said, Mrs. Turnbull is both flattered and charmed, as we all are. Thanks a lot.
Just one more, Prime Minister. Sorry, on sheep exports, Labor